What's up? Good morning. What the hell am I talking about? Good afternoon. How y'all doing today? Welcome to another episode of Monday Mystery School. And we about to get it in. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go ahead and hit that share button. Good to see you. How you doing today? Flat mother freaking power. Shout out to everybody in the building. We're going to get right into today's mystery school. And I want to start with an introduction if I can. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this slideshow up here because, hold on a second. Oh, wow. All right. Let me get my slideshow going, folks. It apparently it won't let me use the hotkeys. All right, no problem. Let me just redo it. So right to go forward, left to go back. How y'all doing today? We already starting with these tech issues because my slideshow ain't acting right. It ain't letting me control it. There we go. Now I can control it. All right. I was worried for a minute, man. So hit the like button, guys. We about to get right into this. And like I said, it's important that I start with an introduction. Now, this introduction is just something very simple. A lot of people like to tell me what to do, what I ain't doing, what I need to be doing. A lot of folks say, man, I stepped away because it's stagnant. A lot of folks got negative things to say about this Flat Power community. And that's fine. We still love them. Everybody got their own opinion. It don't make them an enemy. But what I find is that the people that tell me what I need to do, they don't do shit. And the stuff they tell me I need to do, I never said I was gonna do. So let me just give you some advice out there, my brothers. Don't spend your time telling other men what need to be done. Be the man that do it. Because in every man's mind, he's doing what need to be done. So if you see something that ain't being done, guess what? That's your calling. The universe called you to do that. The moment you start getting mad at somebody else for not doing an idea that's in your heart, you're psychologically ill. With that being said, I'm going to continue to do here today what I've been told you I was going to do, and that's teach sacred geometry and syncretism. Now, I got some more research I want to share with you guys. So let's start off with this. Here, let's go here. I put this up here. And what I'll do, I'll read something here to go with this image to start this thing off properly. Hold on a second. I got a better way. I know what I'm going to do. Instead of having y'all read this, I'll read it. And you could just see the images. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to set that up. All right, so again, today we're going to be talking about the torus field and syncing it together with the cosmic Christ. And we're also going to be talking about Tartaria in relation to the North Pole Mercator's map and, you know, the four-way boulevard that became Jesus Christ. But what I want to point out in our, the first thing I want to point out in our beginning phases of this video is just the awesomeness of the torus field, right? Because the torus field is basically the foundation of all these mythologies, all this sacred geometry, and all these symbols. The torus field is the only thing that exists. Everything in nature exists as a torus field, perpetuating its own torque or vibration. At the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid. A reciprocating hyperboloid can be defined as a perpetual energy generator that generates its energy by balancing drive force and drain force, or repulsive and absorptive energy, which is also known as electric and magnetic energy. So, for example, at the center of the human's face is the nose, which is a reciprocating hyperboloid that inhales, which is absorptive or magnetic force, and it exhales, which is repulsive or electric force. All right, the nose or nostrils also shapes like the torus. All right, as you can see, the word nose is the word nous, because the nose ties the face together at the center and connects the human body with the ether by bringing wind into the lungs. Now, this is my own research and my own writing. A lot of these posts I'm going to turn into a book. So what I'm giving y'all in these mystery schools, a lot of people are not appreciating, but they still give credit and props to like these great black teachers and leaders who are, you know what I mean? I don't get it. But anyway, let's get it in, because this deep stuff I'm giving you. Now, if you know what a noose is a knot. A noose is a point where two things are tied together. And what could that be? The nose ties together the brain with the mouth. And then the mouth and all of what we call the throat and all that esophagus area connects on downward to connect the rest of the body. But without the nose, the body can't function. You see, you'll have to breathe and talk at the mouth at the same time. There'll be a lot of choking and a lot of deaths. The nose, people, is at the center of the face, and it is a peak. It is a point. It extends off of the face because it is designed to be the instrument that allowed a human body to intake air or ethereal energy, that's exactly what wind is. The wind outside is the winding of nature outside. So the wind is the wind. And it's a circuit. The wind follows a circuit just like the sun and moon. Just like your blood follows a circuit through your veins. Your vein system is a circuit system that allows the blood to flow through and is being pumped by the heart. The wind that flows through the atmosphere that encompasses all things being pumped from the center of the earth or the heart of the earth. When you inhale wind, you're basically inhaling circulation. If you stop breathing, the blood stops flowing. So the wind is processed to make the winding of your inside of your body take place. Let me explain something to you. The wind outside stirs up the terrarium, manipulating a lot of light elements or least dense elements, recycling them through the hyperboloid at the North Pole, also causing the ocean tides and stirring up the elements. The wind, okay, is very important. It's the stirrer. That's why it's called the wind, because it's the winding. Now, there's something even least denser than wind, and it's ethereal vibration, electromagnetic energy. And this is what the wind sits within. Okay, so we're in a terrarium and it's full of wind or air. And maybe what I need to do at this time is pull up, no, why do I still have the face up there? This is the part we're supposed to be on while I'm talking about the wind. My bad. I'm messing the slideshow up. So we're in this terrarium. And what you see stirring, now inside of our little terrarium here is the wind, the air we breathe, and all of the elements. But what is this barrier? What is this? This is ethereal wind. This is not the stuff you breathe in your nose. This is the stuff that's moving that stuff. So something is even moving the wind. And it is the terrarium that the wind sits within. It's a vibrational barrier, magnetic barrier. This is what's stirring up the wind. This middle pole is like a blender stirring up our elements inside of our terrarium. And if it stops, all of the elements will just settle and it'll become stagnant and we'll die. Night and day will no longer happen if it stopped. So this winding is very important. The ether is very important. And again, it's called an ether because this fish eats up the elements at the top, spits them out at the bottom as new elements. Okay? In other words, what you're looking at here, let's look at this again. The elements enter the earth. We use them and they become dirty. The earth renews them as they go around here and they come in new again. We use them, we dirty them up again, and as they exit, the torus field renews them while they're outside of here. And when they enter again, they're recharged, renewed, and the elements are constantly being renewed like this here. And if you look at the shape of this, it shapes like your nose. Your nose is constantly renewing your bloodstream with oxygen. So what I'm showing you here is how nature builds things. And again, why at the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid that renews everything. So the word nose is also the word news, because the word nose is the word noose. A noose is a knot that ties, just like you see here. And when you say noose, you're saying news. Okay? So the nose would be Jesus, and the two eyes taking in information or stealing information would be the two thieves. All right? Jesus come that they may have life, that they may breathe. He represents the nose. And the two thieves represents the two eyes. This pattern of cavalry can be seen all around the cosmos because this is nature's design. It's the fractal code of nature. Here you can see is also the wise old owl. Now, let's read some more. So, excuse me. So again, the word nose is the word noose because the nose ties the face together at the center and connects the human body with the ether by bringing wind into the lungs. Each nostril belongs to a lung. The nose or the breather connects us to the ether via the element wind. The nose or the breather connects us to the ether via the element wind. There's a fractal connection that sustains life. And if you look at the nose or the breather, it shapes like the ether because they're one and the same. Here's the ether. Here's the breather. And they're both connected. We're connected to the ether by the breather in the middle of your face. And at the middle of every event is a reciprocating hyperboloid. At the middle of an apple is a seed, which is a reciprocating hyperboloid, meaning it can never die. The seed goes into the ground and just keep making more damn seeds. It reciprocates. It's a reciprocating hyperboloid. The nose exists on all levels of micro and macro at the center, connecting you to the ether, no matter what form you in. All right, the human body, the sperm cell, there's going to be some form of this. And this purpose of this is to see this fractal pattern of nature that we can tap into the ancient spiritual systems. Now, I want to read some more of my post on Facebook as we continue to sync this Christ, cosmic Christ, to give you this holy grail, this, you know. So let's just continue to read here. So again, at the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid, and at the center of the brain is the pineal gland, okay, which would be a reciprocating hyperboloid because the pineal gland is a vortex/stargate that allows the influence of the luminaries to interact with the brain. So the pineal gland is the invisible mind that sends the invisible thoughts to the visible brain so that they can be manifested into visible actions. So it allows the will of the spirit to influence the body and be processed through the body. Therefore, it is another hyperbolic connection or entry and exit point that allows energy to be processed and transformed. The connections between the physical realm and the ethereal realm exists at the center of everything, and everything is a torus field, ladies and gentlemen. The connections between the physical realm and the ethereal realm exists at the center of everything, and everything is a torus. Think about it. At the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid, and I'm going to keep repeating that. At the center of the human's torso is the heart, which contracts, that would be magnetic force, and it expands, that would be electric force. So the heart is a hyperboloid, biological hyperboloid. And remember, hyperboloids basically perform dual actions and rhythm to perpetuate their energy. The heart cycles the blood throughout every vein in the body by sucking blood into one entry and out the other. Very important with a simple thing. This is what we see here. The ether sucks the elements into one end and out the other. And as they pass this middle threshold, they are transformed because the energy, once it crosses the dielectric inertial plane, it is altered. This is called alternating current. Alternating current is alternating energy. And that's what you are. An energy on an infinite journey of being alternated. Since you can't cease to exist, you can only change forms. So be careful what you are transforming yourself into. Let's talk more about you and your connection with Mother Nature. See, this knowledge I'm giving you is not popular, it's hidden, it's under attack, and many men wish death upon me, Blood in my eyes, God, you gonna see. Let me quit. Let's get some more of this knowledge, man. Let's explain what your body is, what your spirit is. Let's talk about this. So, hyperboloids perform dual actions in rhythm to perpetuate their energy. So, the human body itself is a hyperboloid for the ethereal body surrounding you. Surrounding your human body is the soul and spirit. Represented, they call it the auric body or the macro body. Humans don't have spirits and souls. Spirits and souls have humans. This is the angel or devil on both shoulders. The cup on your head, the cup beneath your feet. This is the ethereal body that surrounds the human body. Just like there's a heart inside of your chest that's keeping your human body alive, the human body itself is a giant heart that keeps the spirit alive. Now, the heart inside of your chest, it beats to keep you alive. Boom, 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 contracts, expands. And when your heart stops beating, you die. Now, this fractal code is so important that you see what I'm trying to show you here. Your heart in your chest is to your body what your body is to your soul. The human body is the heart at the center of the macro body, and it beats to keep the soul alive. What do you mean, Brother Sanchez? You live and die, 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 live and die. It don't stop. You live and die, live and die. Just like your heart keep beating. And that body in the middle of this ethereal body goes away, come again, goes away, comes again, goes away, comes again, goes away, comes again. So your spirit has a body in the middle of it, but sometimes that body goes away and it comes back again. Then it goes away and it's like a bulb with a flickering light on and off. The body is the light. Now, every time you come and go, this spiritual body contracts and expands, because when there's a body at the middle of the ethereal body, the body serves as a vortex that's sucking the influence of the ethereal body into the pineal gland and out the root chakra. So the cup on top of your head is the body's way of connecting its soul to the body. When your body was formed, it had to anchor your soul to the body. Otherwise, you would be a body without a soul around it. So the body being formed served as a vacuum, a hyperboloid that start to suck in this light body through, Your human body has a vortex in the middle of the brain called a pineal gland, and that's what's sucking in the light body into your body. So your spirit, your soul surrounds your body, and it's filling your body up. So our spirit and soul is inside of us and outside of us. We're sandwiched in between the macro, because it's being sucked through our head and out our feet and around the body. Now listen, when the body is not in the middle of this thing, there is no cup at the top and there is no cup at the bottom. It's now a full egg shape. So when the body disappears, it expands, because the body ain't there no more to be a vortex. So that them two cups is gone and they buff back out again. And it's shaped like an egg instead of a little bead or cell. So as the body live and die, the soul contracts, expands, contracts, expands, contracts, expands, and the human body serves as a heart for the soul. And the heartbeat of the soul is the life and death of the human. It is a fractal code, and I'll give you some time to reflect upon that, and we'll play a little music, and I will return in just not 10 minutes, in 2 minutes. Yeah, so we're gonna continue here with the journey. So let's go ahead and continue talking about the heart. All right, so again, the heart is a hyperboloid, and hyperboloids perform dual actions in rhythm to perpetuate their energy. So nature is doing just that. She's performing a dual action in rhythm to perpetuate her energy. We call that dual action night and day, night and day, night and day, night and day. If she performed one single action, being the creation of day, it wouldn't be enough to perpetuate energy. It'll be like having a battery with only one half, the negative half or the positive half. See, the only way humans can perpetuate their species is with both halves, man and woman. In creation of energy is about balancing implosion and explosion. That's what you do when you inhale and exhale. What if you only can inhale? Your lungs will fill up with air and they'll pop. So the air fills the lungs blow the air back out, because within the air is what the lungs need, not the air itself. So the air is just a messenger, because the air is the voice of the Most High speaking to the lungs, giving them from the air what they need to feed into the bloodstream to constantly cleanse the body every second. And if that stops, the body dies. They call it disease. This is the foundation of all illness. The heart's ability to not cleanse the blood properly. So understanding this, we can heal the body with the proper vibrations of the mind and the soul, because this is what controls the beating of the heart. The cadence of the heart. For example, if I take you to watch a scary movie, the heart beats faster. So we can influence the cadence of the heart. And by doing so, bring the body into a state of ease or dis-ease. The constant programming us of fear propaganda and worries and depression is to create a certain cadence in the heartbeat of humanity, a chaotic cadence. And once that becomes normalized, we age quicker and we die quicker, and everyone thinks it's normal, even though we realize that the ancients lived to be hundreds and hundreds of years old because their heartbeat was slower, more in tune with nature. They sped us up, y'all, in all ways. The average human heartbeat is way more faster than the ancient heartbeat. They lived in a slower world that was more connected, more relaxed. And they lived longer. They had different calendars synced to that different heartbeat. Right? Our hearts beat a lot faster today. We're in a faster society. So understand what I'm telling you here today and how everything is connected. The hearts of the humanity, the collective minds or the collective consciousness, everyone's blood is crystallized plasma. It's plasma. We're all pulling in the same air into our nose, and the air is programmed with the collective consciousness. Thoughts pass from one to another, and they're transformed as they enter and exit each human, and they can morph into some beautiful things or some ugly monsters. So one human have a thought of, let's just say, maybe a different sex position that may be a bit vulgar than the traditional ones. Every human start exercising that thought of that human, and when it's exercised by each mind, it's exercised by them in their own way. And some minds morph the idea into even more vulgar sex acts, which are then morphed into even more vulgar sex acts, because once information passes through a reciprocating hyperboloid, it is transformed. And once you put one thing into a hyperboloid, it comes out 1,000 things. The ground, you put a seed into it, get a tree with a bunch of seeds. So we plant thoughts out into the collective. We plant thoughts out into the ether. And as our thoughts pass from mind to mind, each time they pass through a mind, they become worse, more corrupted than they were before. Because energy can't die, it can only change forms. And in the case of negative energy, it turns into ugly, ugly things. So, same thing with beautiful ideas. A guy have a beautiful idea, it passes from mind to mind, that beautiful idea morphs into even more beautiful ideas based upon that one. Because once things pass from mind to mind, each human is a reciprocating hyperboloid that transforms energy. Now, let's talk about you beautiful humans, and what you are. A great instrument created by Mother Nature. And let's read a little bit more how we relate to all of this. So the heart, right? The heart cycles blood throughout every vein in the body by sucking blood into one entry and out the other. The same way the macro body cycles light through the pineal gland and out the feet. The light body, or the spirit, the soul, is constantly influencing the human body. And it is cycling its light influence throughout every nook and cranny of the nervous system. Just like the heart does the blood. And remember, the blood is liquid light, plasma. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this. Where was I? So the heart cycles the blood throughout every vein in the body by sucking blood into one entry and out the other. This dual action is the same simple action performed by the straw in your soda. Soda straw. So the same action is performed by the straw in your soda, which by the way is exactly what the North Pole is, and we already went over that. Here I have some Vedic cosmology as well as my little demonstration. See, the North Pole is a reciprocating hyperboloid, which is these two little triangles here. They twisting together like a braid, constantly winding like a DNA strand, contracting and expanding. Now, at some point, I will be showing you an actual reciprocating hyperboloid so you can see what it looked like. Okay? It's very simple. It's basically basically the opposite of a diamond is an hourglass. Okay? So this right here is an hourglass, but it reciprocates. So these two triangles are constantly moving up and down this thing, reciprocating by twisting, coiling together. The reciprocation process causes this middle part right here, where the two triangles connect, to expand and get skinny, expand and get skinny. In other words, right here, this pole, it gets big, it gets small, it tightens, and then it gets big. It tightens up, it gets big. Right here. And what determines that is based upon the braiding of this light. Think about a cord that's braided together. If you loosen the braids, it expands. If you tighten the braids, it contracts. So it's reciprocating. And that's what's happening right here. This little slit is contracting and expanding based upon the turning of the top and the bottom of this torus field. Right? Let's read some more. So, as the turning up, see, and another thing, the reason it's turning at the top is because as the light flows into this black hole, it's like a drain. It spirals around the corner of that thing like a drain, like and make a tornado. And all of that light is braided up when it does that. And when it comes out the bottom, it bursting outward and loosening back up again. You see? And as it bursts outward, then all of the light forms an egg, goes around and come back again and tie up again, just like they tie candy pieces together. So if you take a bunch of pieces of candy and line them up, it'll look like DNA. How you have to untwist the candy wrapper and twist it back up, contraction, expansion. That's what the earth is. So let's just read some more. We'll talk about that some more later. I don't want to get too far off track. This contraction and expansion is the result of energy entering and exiting. So think about that straw. Think about that straw, okay? When you suck in on a straw, it's tighter, it's more slimmer than when you're not sucking through the straw. All right, now let me go ahead and read a little more. So the North Pole acts like a cosmic straw that connects our earthly realm to the ethereal realm by allowing souls or electric energy to enter and exit the earth the same way a cable cord allows electricity to come and go. The same way a straw allows the drink inside of the cup to connect with your inside of your mouth. So the straw becomes a conduit of energy, of material, a highway. Yeah, it's very simple stuff. Now, where were we? So this straw at the center of the earth, or this cable cord, if you will, because maybe that's a more technical something for you electricity heads. We can use a cable cord as well. Same thing, right? Nature transports information, energy the same way humans do. So the North Pole is just like a cable cord that leads out of this earth and spirals and swirls and connects to all kind of other worlds. And this is how you came here, through that cable cord, through that tunnel system. Just like electricity goes through a cord, if you can imagine, if your electricity, what your experience would be like moving through a cord. That's what death is like. People tell you all the time, I was spiraling through a pole, and that's how nature transports our consciousness, through these cords or these poles at the center of all of these realms. Let's talk some more about this cable. Very interesting. This North Pole where all compasses point. So again, it's a cosmic straw that connects our earthly realm to the ethereal realm by allowing souls to enter and exit the earth the same way a cable cord allows electricity to come and go. This cable also allows the elements to recycle. Recycle simply means to re-enter the cycle. Recycle simply means to re-enter the cycle. The cycle is the pattern of the torus. It repeats itself, and since everything is a torus field, nothing can cease to exist. All things will constantly repeat the cycle over and over. This is the eternal dance of our energy constantly entering and exiting the elemental realm from the ethereal realm via the cable of life. And we see that cable of life at the middle of the torus, backing up what I said. At the center of all things is a reciprocating hyperboloid. You can't escape this. You can't escape. You can't find me nothing in existence and point to the center of it, and I can't show you an active balance or a reciprocating hyperboloid. Ain't no way around this law. I could show you contraction and expansion at the center of everything, or as the main function of all equipment or technological mechanisms. So, not to get you all just bent out with the geographic center, at the center of the construct of the device, but mainly geographically at the center, because it's the most ideal way to build that motherboard or that centralizing aspect, Makes sense, what I'm saying, to put the chimney at the center of the roof, because all the smoke follows a cyclone triangular pattern. So the roof shapes like a triangle. It would make sense to put the chimney at the top, right in the middle. So that I'm just giving you simple examples of why we say at the center of everything is a reciprocating hyperboloid. Now, let's go to this Jane cosmos. All right, because right here on the left is look like an hourglass. This is basically the counter space of a torus field. You have space and counter space. And space is what we're walking around in. We're inside of this thing. This is the space that we live within. But outside of this, or outer space is counter space in space. We don't mean space as in emptiness. We mean it as in room, potential, real estate. Don't mean nothing's there. Mean everything's there for life, to just waiting for you to get flowers to bloom. It's like so much potential there, potency. All right, so the James idea of the cosmos was a torus field. And what they did was they just took the hyperboloid from the middle of it and they basically gave reverence to that, because this symbol is an apple core. Let's show you something. At the center of everything is a reciprocating hyperboloid. This goes back into the ground and it expands again. You see, contraction and expansion. You eat this thing up. All right? When you eat it up, that's called contraction. You're contracting something from the apple. It's flesh, it's nutrients. You're contracting it. And as you consume it or contract its information and its data from it, download it into you, it's not that the apple is gone. It just has contracted. Since everything is connected, the human allows the fruit to contract. We have a contract with nature to eat the fruit so that the fruit can recreate itself. If we don't eat the flesh from around this core, the apple can't reproduce. This is the contract we have with nature. So we're contracting information from our food, and that contraction process causes the fruit itself to appear contracted. See, if you were to hold an apple in your hand and squeeze it hard as you can, this is the shape you would get. And this is space and counter space. The apple can only exist in those two ways: as a whole apple or eaten apple, represented by this core in the middle. Whenever if you were to take a strong vibrational wind and blow this torus field, guess what'll happen? You would disturb this little egg shape, it'll distort. And the only thing that'll be there is these two suction holes. And the moment your disturbance stops, it'll create a shell back around it. Because the vortex is the seed. These two little cones, this hourglass shape, this what's creating the shell. You can blow the shell away. Think of what you call it. What's those little flowers, a dandelion? Think it's called a dandelion. Here it is. One of these right here. Remember blowing these when you were little? You can blow this little fuzzy little layer off of there. You can blow that away. But what's going to be up under there is a seed that's going to keep growing a little fuzzy little, just like your hair. You got hair on your head. And you got to keep getting a haircut, man, because it keep growing out. Because what's beneath the skull is the seed that's growing the hair, not the hair itself. It's going to keep reciprocating itself. What I'm telling you is reciprocity. The laws of reciprocity. You can blow up the first layer of little. Each one of these is a seed that's just going to go somewhere and land. And this little stick right here is going to become a whole big plant like this. Each one of these little pores is just a miniature one of these. Everything in nature is fractal, family. Open your eyes. See, When you blow the first layer, when you blow this first layer away, you ain't doing nothing but plant seeds and clearing clearing the surface for a new generation of seeds to grow on top of that. Then when you blow them away, this stem gonna pump out some more generations and more generations. It'll keep doing it until you cut its connection with the earth. Long as them two connected, they gonna have children, and you can blow them off to have their children. And what I'm showing you is reciprocity. How you can't destroy anything, you can only smash it and recreate it into a million more versions of itself. There's no such thing as things going away or ceasing to be in this infinite reality. So here what I'm showing you is the same thing is here. This shell, all right, if it was a stronger vibration blowing this thing, you can blow it off of its core. But the moment you stop that disturbance, the seed right here will pump back out another shell around it. You can't get rid of the shell forever. You can only overpower it temporarily. But as soon as you leave, it'll be back, creating this shell around itself again. That's all. And that's the same thing we call life and death. So I want your mind to tie this thing together. In the Norse cosmology, they had a deity called a Dagda. And he was the supreme god father, the tribe protector, represented by an oak tree, and ruler of the spirit realm, commander of the fairies' army, masculinity, fertility, a corn god, and controller of weather and crops and resurrection. This became Jesus. This deity predates Christ, and the two loops on each side of him that ties him together are the two thieves that were surrounding Christ on Calvary. This right here, my friend, is an early version of Jesus Christ. Remember, Jesus Christ is the Father, right? And represents resurrection, right? Here it is right here, the Father God, Supreme God, all right, and God of resurrection, everything we say about Jesus. So the Dagda basically performed his magic with a cauldron, or a little bat you see in his hand right there. It's not a bat. He's not trying to beat you up. This is a spiritual God. He don't need to hit you with a physical bat. That's a wand. Depending on how he waved that wand, he can do something far worse than hit you with a bat, okay? So why does the statue, let me show you something so y'all will understand something. Because you don't really know what I'm telling you unless I show you comparative images of the modern world. We worship the Dagda today because it's the only thing in existence. It's the Taurus field. The Statue of Liberty is the modern day Dagda. Now, if you look at the headdress of the Statue of Liberty, it's showing you how the crown chakra bursts out the top of the head. Now, this is what the Dagda represents, the ethereal body. Every human is a Christ. Now, check this out. This wand and this bursting of energy out of the head became this torch and a bursting of light out of the head. And instead of a harp, they give a booklet or a pamphlet. It's the same deity. This is the secret of secrets that I'm giving you. And people act like I'm just some dummy, man. I don't get it. I'm showing and proving. And they say, well, you using Google. And the idiots just don't know that I found their YouTube channel through Google. My God. Like, Google controls everything internet related because it's a search engine. And we have to search the web, right? So either you're going to use Google, Bing, Yahoo, or some kind of search engine. But see, this is what they do to deflect from the fact that we dropping facts. We are dropping knowledge. The truth hurts. So people, well, he put it up using Google. Well, I also found out my dinner recipe through Google, and I get my directions how to get around to certain areas through Google. And it don't fail me. Google ain't nothing but a search engine. It ain't gonna tell you what to search for. That's the trick. If you want to find the truth, you can find it through Google. Yes, you can. But if you want to find the lies, guess what? You can find hella lies through Google. Google gonna give you what you're looking for. It's just that they program you to look for the lie. Google don't tell lies. I'll debate anybody on that. It don't tell nothing. It's neutral. It's just a damn search engine that allowed the world to put all this information on it. It don't tell. Google they listen, man. We putting the damn content on the web. Google just providing the damn engine that you need to search through all of the shit. Duh. It's crazy that I gotta teach humans how the internet worked in 2018. Excuse me. Now that's a blooper. Brother Sanchez, you're a year behind, but it's 2019 now. Won't you Google that? But yeah, this deity called a doctor is the modern day Statue of Liberty. You can see they replaced the harp with a book, and the little torch, the little wand became a torch. So yeah, we're gonna keep on moving with this, and we're gonna some more of this syncretism, because contraction and expansion, reciprocating hyperboloids. That's what this is, people. When this thing right here goes into the ground, it turns into a tree. Yeah. When you throw this right here into the ground, this transforms into a tree. In other words, you can't get rid of it. It's contraction and expansion, because when you eat it, that's contraction. You have condensed the information now into a seed. When that goes into the ground, it expands into a tree. Only thing that exists is contraction and expansion. This is what the sine wave represents. This is what the sine wave represents. So the opposite of a diamond is this shape. If you squeeze a diamond in the middle where it's bulging out, it'll become an hourglass, because all of that energy at the middle would burst out the top and bottom. So the only two polarities in existence by which energy is transition, when we talk implosion and explosion, space and counter space, you can look at it just like that, hourglass and diamond. A full basketball full of air would be a 360. And if you squeeze that basketball at the middle tight as you can with both of your hands, that ball, that basketball, will turn into an hourglass. Shout out to Kiana Franklin. Just sent me $20 on Cash App. Appreciate those Cash App donations, my people. I appreciate all of y'all's support. Especially the super chat donators as well, in which I'll be calling all of those super chats out here in a minute. So check out what I'm telling you. You take a basketball, you fill it up with air, perfect 360, just like the apple. And what's the opposite of that? Well, squeeze that basketball hard as you can at the middle, and all of that air is going to burst out the top and bottom of that basketball, and it's going to look like an hourglass. This is nature's two ways of transmitting energy. So study an implosion and explosion. See, the top, this look like an eye. I'm saying an eye and always like an eyeball and a lowercase I. An eye and always. That's what this is, an eye. The creator said, I am that I am. The I is all that exists. The I is all that exists. The I is the Taurus field. The I is you and I, which is the first three letters of you and I verse, or universe is a you and I verse. You are the I and I are the you. No matter what your name is, every human call themselves I. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. I don't care what your name is. We all share the same name called I, because I is all that exists. I is the name of the creator. The creator exists as a collection of everything in creation. So everything in creation call themselves by the collective name of the creator, which is I. When the mama bird is going to get food for the babies, whatever language she's speaking, her bird tongue in her mind, she's thinking, I need to go get a worm. I need to feed my babies. I need to fly away and go find some food. You walking around day to day saying, excuse me, guys. I need to do this. I need to do that. So regardless of what we call ourselves, we all refer to ourselves and collectively as I. And that's for a reason. I is all that exists as the seed of everything. Okay? So I'm giving you the Holy Grail, the cosmic Christ information, as they call it. Everything is I. Now, I told you, study explosion. Study implosion. And you will see all that exists is the I. The I is all that exists. The I. The I is the stitching. It's the hourglass. The I is the womb that you came out of in between your mama legs right here. It's the stitching in the middle of a football, known as DNA strand. When you start stacking all of these eyes together, you get a railroad track. You get a zipper, a connection point, DNA, a Cuban link. Okay? This is what an explosion is. And guess what, people? You are an explosion. And everyone is a I. Okay? Now, we got to read some more. Let's go here. All right. So, the word recycle simply means to re-enter the cycle. And the cycle is the pattern of the torus. It repeats itself, and since everything is a torus field, nothing can cease to exist. All things will constantly repeat the cycle over and over. This is the eternal dance. Excuse me. This is the eternal dance of our energy, constantly entering and exiting the elemental realm from the ethereal realm via the cable of life. Now, let's talk about the cable of life, because the cable of life, again, is this suction point at the center of magnetism. That's a hyperboloid. I know you're tired of hearing me say the word, but that is represented right here by its pole in the middle of the Jane cosmology. You got this barber's pole, and this pole is the same pole we see here, same pole we see here, and I don't gotta keep on, explaining to you how that works. It's a braiding point where all the energy is braided up together. That's what the barber pole is showing you, a spiraling of coiling up of that red, white, and blue. Okay. Now let's read some more to open our mind to this this North Pole hyperborea. They call this place Hyperborea because at the North Pole is a hyperboloid. So they call it Hyperborea. That's where we enter the eye. Okay? Now, that eye, or that cable at the center of the earth, that cable that connects the worlds, all right, is what we want to talk about. Because the word cable is the word cabal, which is the root word of Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is a mystery school that is decoding the secret of the Kaaba, or the cable. The cable. All occult schools are founded on the energy at the North Pole where all compasses point. And by studying that connective cable at the center of the earth and even traveling to it, I'm sure top ranking occultists get to travel there, and God knows what they are able to achieve and accomplish by visiting the actual Holy Grail, the Magic Mountain. This was frequently visited by the ancestors, even said to renew their life. If you're aging, you can go to this and renew your life. All kind of things were said about what happens at the North Pole, and I just encourage you to keep your mind open, because the more you learn, the possibilities become infinite. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Now, if you can think it, it exists. That's what's crazy. If you can think it, it exists. So check this out, right? This cable that connects our world to other worlds can be looked at as the pole that creates a shish kebab. That skewer, that pole, connects all that meat with the vegetables and stack it up together. And that's what the North Pole is. If you think of a bunch of beads on a string to create a beaded necklace, we used to make bead necklaces, and we'll put all them little beads on a string. And that's what Earth is. It's a ball on a string. A ball on a string. Everything is this is string theory. Everything is strung together. Everything is a torus field, and at the middle of that torus field is a string that connects that thing to the ether. Because all things in nature gotta be plugged into the ether. Just like all things in your house that's electric got to plug into the wall. The ether is the wall. And all things in this earthly realm has a crown chakra that connects them to this moving wall. Or what some people call a silver cord. So here we see that the eye is the seed, the heart. So this is a reciprocating hyperboloid. I already explained to you how it contracts and expands. Through magnetism, it lures you to bite into it. And it achieves the contraction process through you, the human, who it develops a contract with. Humans have a contract with the apple species. We ain't gonna stop eating them. So they know they're gonna continue to go down and have their core exposed so they can have babies. So they can connect with the earth and make a new generation of cores and seeds that's hoping they get picked and eaten so it can expose their core. And they can connect with the earth naked. And when that happens, the process can reciprocate itself. This will happen over and over again. This is what happens with you. See, when you leave this earth, the death process will strip you of the false ego. And when you reconnect with Mother Nature, when you reconnect naked like this, you'll be able to expand your consciousness again in the fetus of another mother. And this will happen over and over. Now, so let's read some more. So this is the story of Christ. Story of Christ. So this cable that connects us to the ether. Again, the root word of Kabbalah is cable. So the Kabbalah tree of life is the North Pole. The North Pole cable became the cable tree of life. The Kabbalah tree, the cable tree, the connective tree, the Akashic tree. All right. So when you say Kabbalah, you're saying the cab of Allah, because it's literally a cab that allows energy to be transported by transitioning the energy from one form to another. So a cable has the same root word as a cab. The connect, what, how, why is that so? Because the cab connects the human to their destination. The cab is in between point A and point B. It's point C. That's the Christ. See, if you draw an A on the right and a B on the left and put a C in between them at the top and make a triangle with them, you'll see what I mean. All right, so what we got to realize is that the cab, right, becomes that thing that connects the dots. And if you look at a taxi cab, they got the checkerboard pattern, and the yellow is yellow and black, Masonic, B goddess colors, checkerboard. It's like an underlying meaning to everything that's related to the messenger, the connecting point. So a cab, all right, it's the root word of Kabbalah or cable. They both do the same things. The cable at the center of the earth gets the soul from point A to point B. That's why our macro body shapes the way it shapes. Our macro body shapes like a bullet, and a bullet is designed to go down a pole or a barrel. Our soul, our Merkaba, shapes like a bullet, and it is designed to enter a chamber, a barrel, a pole. Nature is very brilliant with her designs. So a screw and a bolt. This would be the bolt and the screwing take place here. This is sets. You know, all of this happened through sets, which is the portal. This is why they want to stop natural sets. They want to make it synthetic. They want you to get the dolls. They want you to take the feeders out and do it in a lab. They don't just want the natural sets. Too many portals will be opened up. We'll have control over how many souls we choose to let in and out. That's the one thing we always had control over that made us more powerful than the world government. This is why they want to depopulate the earth, control sets, because our children are our armies. One thing we always had against them was our ability to perpetuate ourselves in numbers. The law of reciprocity always worked on our behalf. So you may win one time, but give us, man, I say a decade, and we'll have been a breed of the whole army, ready for war again. How do you stop? That's like moving into a house with a big weed problem. And you thought you just defeated them weeds. You got your weed whacker. You went out there, you tore the yard up. You got all them weeds out, man. Yard look immaculate. You come outside 3 days later and it looked like it's even worse than what it was. And you suddenly realize you can't win against these weeds because every time you chop them down, they just multiply. So what the powers that be realized was that they got to get control of our ability to reproduce if they want to control our numbers. Now, like I said, the ethereal body is shaped like a bullet because it's designed to travel through a cable system, a cabal system, or what they call a Kabbalah. You don't have to travel through that system when you die. You can do it while living too. You know, consciousness can be anywhere it want to be through that light, through that system of bouncing light. Now, I got to continue reading. Don't want to go too far off subject. So the cab of Allah is literally a cab that allows energy to be transported by transitioning the energy from one form to another. This is what happened when you were conceived in the womb, and this is what happens when we are received back by the earth. At the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid, and at the earth, and the earth is no different, people. At the center of every torus field is a reciprocating hyperboloid, and the earth is no different. Earth is a huge torus field, and the North Pole is a hyperboloid that reciprocates just like the human heart, creating a vortex that will continue to spin the sun and moon for eternity. There is only one design of nature, and that is the torus field, which is a fractal pattern that is the foundation of all things in existence. The only things that exist are torus fields within torus fields. The cell is a torus field. Every scientific building block that constructs reality is a torus field, no matter what scale you deal with, from micro to macro. And this is so true. It's true because nature is so perfect that she didn't have to make many designs, because she made one design that was so stable and perfect that she only had to make many variations of that same design. So everywhere we look in micro and macro, we see the fractal code of nature all around us because the design was so perfect. It was nothing else that can be created afterward. Something so perfect, man, that you can't do nothing but variate its perfection, but you can't make nothing to oppose it or compare to it. That's what we're talking about when reality was constructed. It was one thing, and that one thing was variated. So again, nature is so perfect that she didn't have to make a bunch of different designs. She only had to make one design and variate that one perfect design many different ways. Very simple. Mother Nature is the maintainer of infinity, and you cannot create more of infinity. Mother Nature does not create new elements every day. She maintains infinity by constantly renewing the elements that have always existed. And she does this via toroidal flow, which is the holy grail of creation. That completes the first section of Decoding Christ, decoding the cosmic Christ. That completes the first section here. You can see why Christ is the renewer. Okay, why Christ is said to renew all things. He comes that all things can be new again. All right, because Christ is a personification of the great mother, which renews and recycles all things. Now, they want people to worship Christ today and curse the great mother. And these Christians do that by making up stuff like the Saturn moon matrix, making you get scared of Mother Nature's recycling process. When you die, this is going to happen. When you die, nature got a process that she already constructed without your dumb ass having to overthink a goddamn thing. That's just like when you was a baby and Mother Nature was putting you together in the womb. You saying, oh man, we gotta escape the hats of Mother Nature. You better make sure she don't connect your heart together with your brain. She gonna throw you in the body and trap you in the world. Shut your ass up. They want everybody scared of Mother Nature's beauty and worshiping a damn man, saying, I want to go be born again through Jesus and come out covered in boo-boo. I'd rather come out covered in blood from my mama's womb than some nigga's buttocks. He can't give birth to a human. Wake the hell up. Nothing makes sense when we deal with science because they replace the great mother with these imposters. It's the motherly aspect that renews all things. It's the manly aspect that uses all things. Man is a depleter. Woman is a replenisher. Man is electric. Woman is absorptive, magnetic. If man don't take away, she can't exercise her giving power. So there's a beautiful marriage there, subtraction and plus. And together they create a spiral. Because when you take the plus sign and you slant that subtraction sign to intersect that plus sign, it becomes a star or asterisk that spins for eternity. And that's the male and the woman, the penis and the vagina, the plus and the minus, coming together to create the spiral, the vortex. Hold on a second, people. All right, so like I said, that completes the first section of our mystery school as far as the decoding of Christ slash Yeshua. All right, if you want to learn more about how Christ relates to this, follow my previous mystery schools. I will be continuing my religious decoding because the religious people really need this information. A lot of people been hitting me up saying, man, you really opening my eyes to the fact that, you know, Jesus may be a personification of something else. It makes a lot of sense. You can't argue with it. All you can do is keep believing. And I won't hack you for it, but there comes a time where as adults got to quit believing and go back to the science and the truth that can really free us. Belief ain't truth. That's why the world full of beliefs and ain't nobody free. Beliefs may feel good, but yet it still isn't truth, so they will not free us, but it'll free the pastor though. And that's because he living his truth through you, through your beliefs, which is fucked up, really. So his worst nightmare is you actually living out your dream, and that's fucked up, people. Their worst nightmare is you living your dream, because your freedom means the end of their corruptions and scams. So it's important that I reveal the religious deception. And we'll be doing just that. In the bottom left of this collage, you see the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We ain't even got into that yet. All right, I'm going to be breaking down the 4 horsemen in this series in a way like you never heard before. And I'm not even going to talk about it now. But if you follow me on Facebook, I already put a post out there teaching on it. So you already know what time it is. See, that's the beauty of following me on Facebook. I teach this shit on my Facebook wall before I do the videos. So when I do the videos, some people be like, yeah, I'm just getting it in even more detail, but I'm familiar with it because I followed a brother on Facebook and he was posting about this. He put in, I be writing like 2-3 paragraphs of information with images on my Facebook wall. So if you ain't following me on Facebook, you know you wrong. But again, the first section is complete. I'm going to get in the chat room for 5 minutes with y'all and talk to y'all and entertain a few questions. Then I'm going to come back up here and talk about Tartaria. All right, but I'm going to take a 5-minute break and politic with y'all in the chat room. All right, just a quick minute to smoke me one and get ready for this Tartarian slide. Everybody, I'm back, and we are now going to talk about Tartaria, which is very important because a lot of people talking about that now, but I think we lacking a lot of vital, simple information concerning the Tartarian Empire. Who are the Tartars? Why is the conversation so big now? Oh, you finna learn a lot today. Make sure you hit the like button and share button. Let me give a big shout out to the people that gave super chat donations. That would be my brother Mind's Eye. No stagnation in here. A lot of people are just lazy. That's facts. Shout out to my brother Rugged G. Appreciate the support, family. Shout out to B-Boy Ark. Appreciate that support, my bro. Said your info is so valuable. Thanks as always. I shall be working on my own experiments in free energy devices, flat power, and much love. That's what the hell I'm talking about. Shout out to B-Boy Arch. Shout out to you, Mind's Eye. Phil Brown and Golden Spark. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate all of you brothers. Phil Brown says showing a little love to my favorite channel. That's what's good, my bro. I really appreciate y'all's support, man. That's love right there. And we're going to get on into the Tartarian Empire here. You see, because one thing that's going on right now is there's a huge agenda on flat earth to ignore our true ancestral homeland that Mr. Mercator spoke of. Now here is the basic Mercator's map. We all familiar with it, but I don't think Mercator get enough credit because after all, this is a map of the North Pole, somewhere we're not allowed to go. And this map shows you where Hitler got his swastika from. And this map also shows you our hidden ancestral lands where the ancestors said we all come from. And this map also show you why they said all roads lead back to home, because all compasses point to that mountain in the middle of this map. All the compasses point to the mountain in the magnetic mountain in the middle of this map. Now, how does this relate to Tartaria? Well, my dogs are barking hella loud, so it's probably ruining my show. So I'll just wait a minute for them to be quiet. Appreciate that super chat, knowledge for ignorance. My bad, y'all. Says Sanchez, you in chat, check out my Mother Nature track. It deals with a lot of your research and information and our usual bills. Thanks for the support, HOTC family. Big shout out to HOTC. Big shout out to that brother Knowledge for Ignorance. Getting constructive and actually putting something out there, man, with the information. That is something I'm going to stand behind and support. And I will play that. Damn it, don't let me forget to end the show with that track. Please don't let me forget to do that, man. We got to support this brother and any kind of creative arts with this information, man. Like, that's everybody in the chat room ought to really salute that brother and go on and you know, have that on standby. Check that out, man. Real talk. So we appreciate that. Let's get back on track with Tartaria here, because they're trying to, a lot of people ignore this map. Now, when I say all roads lead to home, everyone compasses point to our true ancestral motherlands. None of these compasses point to Africa. None of them point to Cambodia or Ethiopia. None of these other places that they said are our true homeland. Even they said someplace over there in Europe where they found Noah's Ark is the true homeland. But yet and still, all the compasses are pointing to someplace off map where they telling us we can't go to. Maybe if we were able to travel there, humans will come back and tell the truth that we need to rewrite the history books and the out of Africa theory is bull crap, and that the whole world is founded on pseudoscience and the globe deception of not enough resources, running out of energy is bull crap. Nature is a energy generator of perpetual energy. How can you run out of it? So even on flat earth, you got agents, implants there that's only want to keep everybody in oohs and ahs about Tartarians and Hyperboreans and Atlanteans, and they don't want to talk about the real magic of electromagnetism and how to generate energy and the secrets of what Nikola Tesla was getting into when they killed him. Because they're agents, they're working for the powers that be. It's deeper than the shape of the earth and fantasizing about Atlanteans and Lemurians and all kind of pseudo crap, but you can't generate your own energy though. That's my beef with Tartaria. Now, who were the Tartarians? They're nothing but the Asian ancestors. Listen, people, everybody is born on a certain continent, and they can trace their lineage back by following a compass from their continent. In other words, look at my mouse cursor. Here is Asia right here. If you living in Asia, your compass is pointing you right here. It's a straight line from your continent to this pole. And by following that line, guess what you're going to do? You're going to re-enter your ancestral lands. Inevitably, Earth got the shit built into the magnetic ley lines. That's why we call it tracing back. Because we left the North Pole, we migrated from these original homelands. So when we trace back our lineage, all we doing is walking in the footprints of our ancestors that migrated outward from the center. We walking in our ancestors' footprints when we follow that compass. So every continent has a certain path that they follow to get to these original lands, and the path that you follow from your continent will lead you through your ancestral lands. You will see the generations in order as you journey back to the North Pole. You will see structures get more and more antique. It'll be like walking back in time. And depending on which direction you coming from, depending on what type of structures you will see. So everybody compass will point them to the center, but the path you would take based upon where you at geographically will lead you through your own ancestors' land. It's very simple what I'm telling you. It ain't a bunch of spookism. I know that you want to hear to be entertained. All these popular Tartarian videos talking about spookism. If you born in this area over here, your compass gonna point to this pole, and you're gonna follow a line to this pole, and it's gonna lead you through your ancestors' land. So the Asians, when they go back home to the North Pole, they go through their ancestors' land, and their ancestors was called the Tartarians. These continents don't have names, y'all, but they're belonged to by certain original human races. So down here is Africa, where my mouse hand at. Down in this area would be Africa. Going down this way. And if you were to follow your compass north coming up from Africa, guess what? You'll go through the pygmy land. You'll go through the pygmy land. So Africans journeyed through the pygmy land to make it to the mountain. So we said that we come from the pygmy. The Asians didn't say that they come from the pygmy. They came from the, let me show you what they came from. Hold on a second. These are Asian pygmy, what you're calling Tartarians. Now in this video, I'm doing something that not many people gonna do, because they showing you giant images of Tartarian. Listen, get the giant shit out of your head. Well, don't get it out of your head, because I do believe in giants. I think giants were real. But I'm saying don't only focus on the giants, because when you read about the North Pole, they tell you that there were elves. They tell you that around the North Pole were elves. All right, around the North Pole were elves, and if you give me a minute, I will show you what those elves look like in different races for a second. Give me a minute. Hold on. All all throughout history they spoke of elves at the North Pole? Now hold on a second, people. Let me do something. So let's get back on track here. As you can see is Mercator's map, and you have the dwarfs that was greeted by the expeditioners. You all see that gentleman, that regular size human are us. We are the. What happens is we've journeyed back to the North Pole. Now they stopped most of the world from journeying back because they changed the maps. But some elite men still journey back, and I do believe that as we speak, there is a war going on between the dwarfs and the regular humans. I believe if we were to go to the North Pole now, it would be a war zone. Hold on a second, because there's a lot going on in my background, and it's fucking really irritating me. Hold on, guys. So everything we learn about dwarfs at the North Pole is not just mythology. It's history. It is untold history, because that untold history was told to you in the form of mythology, Santa Claus and elves. So here we see that there are dwarfs around the North Pole, and there are giants. I'm not canceling out the giants. I'm just showing that we can prove the dwarfs now. We can prove these dwarfs, and I don't see the huge giants still walking around today. I do think they exist around the North Pole area. I don't think the giants actually left, or the Jotun, the Nephilim. They never left. We migrated outward. The giants didn't. But that's just my belief. A lot of people got big buildings that they pull up here, which debunk my belief. So I'm not saying I'm right. I can be totally wrong, because there are a lot of huge structures in our areas, civilizations, that show giants may have left too. But what happened to them? Maybe the war expanded all the way out into the new worlds, and the giants were defeated based upon the midgets or the dwarfs unifying with the mediums. I believe we made a contract with the dwarfs, and that contract's still going today, and I believe we actually probably found out it was better for us smaller humans and the midgets to team up against the giants. And that's probably what made the giants go extinct. When the war started, when everybody got corrupted and started battling for resources, I'm pretty sure that the giants must have been quite intimidating. So the midgets and the medium-sized human would naturally come together against the giants and exterminate them. That's just a theory, though. So these dinosaur bones may not be fake bones, people. They may be the bones of giants put together and assembled to look like another creature. So, hey, gotta keep an open mind, man. But again, these would be who we're calling the Tartarians right here. These are your Oriental dwarfs. And the reason it's important is because these Oriental dwarfs occupy parts of Asia that's near the tip of Asia that's pointing toward the North Pole. Very interesting. Think about what I'm telling you here. At the top of every continent are dwarf lands, people, just like Mercator's map show. Mercator had to be right. Because if you're traveling north in Africa, you will reach the pygmy land. And if you're traveling north from Asia, you will reach the Oriental the Tartars. I think the Tartarians were the Oriental dwarfs. No matter which way you approach this thing, you would enter your ancestors' land. And I believe this land would be the giants. So somebody can do some research on this area of the world and see, are there a lot of giant structures in this region? Because if the giants' children would have migrated from the original homelands, they would have went this way, northwest. Northwest from the Mercator map would be the path of least resistance for the giants to lead away. And there are little bitty black lines that show you the paths that we took when we journeyed away. So I'm not making this up. If you look at this black stone, there are real little bitty black lines bursting from this stone, splitting the pie, splitting it like pie slices. Real little bitty thin black lines splitting the pie up. What is these splits? Is magnetic ley lines, paths of dissension. We are fallen angels, and the earth is a huge mountain. When you travel north, you raise in elevation. So when we left the center of the earth, we walked down from the throne of God, you fallen angels. God got off his throne and became most solidified the further away he moved from this magnetic mountain. So the more we journey toward the North Pole, the more the nature of reality changes. The less dense things feel, the more dreamy it feels, like a reality that you can just float on a cloud, so to speak. And they tell you about that. They said the Agarthians, the Hyperboreans, are able to levitate. Their world is less dense than ours. It's crystallized light, so to speak. It's a dream-like world, an astral plane type joint. The more you walk out of this realm and travel toward that vortex, reality breaks down. It changes its vibration to a more dreamier-like reality. So the concept of fallen angels tumbling down that mountain is what we are. And these little black lines show you how we all started at the center, occupied these four lands, and from these four lands, everybody migrated outward from their four lands the way these lines are pointing. In other words, if you were occupying this particular land, you didn't leave away from your homeland out of this way. These magnetic ley lines showing you the path of least resistance and migrational paths that humans followed from their areas. You ain't gonna go you're gonna take the smallest paths, the quickest way out of some shit. If we taking a trip somewhere away from our city, we're gonna take a straight line. If we just want to explore, we're gonna look out in front of us and travel in what would be outward based upon our perspective, not nobody else's. So if we occupying this land right here, and you came to this coastline and look at this mountain where we all come from, the only thing behind you was a mystery. You on this little triangle, you know this is the hyperboloid where life come from. But this coastline is a mystery. You don't know what's out there. So that leads man on a quest outward. Each one from his little pod, his little lily pad, his little continent. And we seeded the entire world evenly based upon a question mark. This coastline right here led everyone from their prospective location to seed continents beyond theirs. So you will see all the different continents on the earth can trace their mother culture back by traveling north from where they are. Isn't it easy and simple? Think about what I'm telling you. No matter where you are on the earth, you can follow a compass north from that land, and you will be journeying through the footsteps of the ancestors of that land. And you don't need a map. All you need is a compass. This is very deep shit what I'm telling you. Think about it. Traveling north from any continent will take you through the motherlands of that continent back to the source. It's well organized, man. And so when we talk about Tartaria, the word breaks down to Taurus territory. Everyone had a name that linked them to the science behind what happens to this at this mountain. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now. Each one of these 4 continents named themselves out the aspect of electromagnetic energy. So when you say the Tartarian, you're saying the Tartarians. And Tor is the root word of Taurus field. Tauric energy, toric energy. Tar and Tor are the same. Tar is in the word star. A star is related to the Taurus field. The stars are storehouses of light. So a star is a store. A star is a store. Each star in the sky is like a storehouse of light. And each of these storehouses is bouncing light from each other, connecting the dots. And that bouncing of light are the electric cords that our soul journeyed through, what I was telling you about earlier. So you got big old worlds that are shining light balls. And there's a pole at the top and bottom of those worlds that connect them to a dot system of worlds. And it's bouncing light. If you know how you bounce light with mirrors, and this is how consciousness is transmitted in and out of the earth through this magic mountain, connecting the worlds. They call it string theory. Now, so a star is a store, and remember, any vowel in between that will give you the macrocosmic definition that's credible. So you can turn it into an I, and it will be a stir. And the stars do help stir the ether as well as store light. So starlight is stored light. It's a buildup of light. It's a point in the Taurus field where a bunch of different lines of light collided in one area, and it's a perpetual collision. So if you got 4 people making a box, skeeting a hose pipe in the middle of the box, where all the water meet, that will be a star. So think of the water coming from each hose pipe as light. And you got light bleeding in from all different cardinal directions, crashing at a point, and that becomes a star or a store house of light, a buildup of light. So and it's stirring the ether. This is motion here. This is motion going on. Now, just giving you etymology to show you how to think about words. Now listen. Each of these lands name themselves out the concept of electromagnetism. So the pygmy name themselves after the concept of pi. Yes. Pythagoras tried to do the same thing. The pygmy were the ones who originally invented what's called the Pythagorean theory. And they had they personified the theory as a python wrapped around an egg, and that became the world egg. I'll show it to you. So the root word of python is pi, because the python shows you about constriction, contraction, how to squeeze the life out of something, and you know, all of that. So that's what's happening, contraction, expansion. And as it coils up around the egg, it splits the egg, slices it up. And that's what Mercator, so the snake is those black lines in Mercator's map. This black lines that's splitting this thing into a pie is turning. It's turning. And as it turns, it looks like a spiral, and it actually turns the world below. So the oceans are turning. And this was personified like this. So when you say pygmy, the root word of pygmy is pi. The numbers 3.14 is pi, but it's just telling you the number 8, people. Don't get caught up in they bull crap. The number 8 is infinity. The number 8 is the Taurus field. And we already went over that. We already went over it. It's the number 8, y'all. This is the number 8. And it was turned into this. And it's a python. You say, Brother Sanchez, what kind of snake is the Ouroboros? Did you ever notice that? It's a python. The perfect snake. You're going to get a python or either a viper. Now, look at the symbol for pi, and you will see that it is the snake mouth. This is the snake mouth, y'all. Let me show you something. You see? The head of the snake, when he's biting, is a pie slice, y'all. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's more than one way to get to this math. Sacred geometry is the simplest way. You don't even got to add and subtract. You can just look at the symbols. That's the shortcut, y'all. They don't want you to know that. But this is pi right here. Pi is the viper, the snake's mouth. So again, this is the snake's mouth, as you can see. The 2 fangs are the 2 thieves. The negative space in between them where the tongue is would be Jesus. So the Ouroboros is a python, and the people who invented the concept, one of the concepts of expressing this in the form of a snake were the pygmy people. The pygmy named themselves after their own spiritual science called pi. The Westerners that invaded the pygmy land, like you see in this image, stole the concepts of pi and the python and gave them to you in a dumbed down way called Pythagorean theory. But the truth is in the pygmy people or the pygmy people. All of these lands named themselves after a concept dealing with electromagnetism And the first continent that we just discussed was the Pygmy land. And the second one that we're going to discuss is the one that's in the title. That's the Tartarian land. And we don't have to do too much discussing about the Tartarian land now, do we? Because when you talk about Tartaria, you're talking about the word tar. It's the word tor, which is the root word of Toronto. And the Toronto Raptors, their logo is a doggone dinosaur because that dinosaur represents your ancestors. I hope you don't mind my country voice. I'm just trying to have some fun here. This is my Buford voice right here. Shout out to Ricky Smiley. But the Tartarians or the Tartarians, they come from the Taurus territory. So instead of saying the Taurus people, they call themselves the Tartarians or the Tartarians. And you can see that connection of electromagnetism in their name as well as the Pygmy. The Taurus people were the Tartarians. Okay? They live near the tauric energy, the hyperboloid, near Taurus territory or Tartar territory. Taurus people were the Tartarians. I mean, hey, the giants. All right, the giants. Oh, excuse me. So the giants, if you look at the root word of the word giant, G-I, is C-H-I, which is a Greek alphabet as well. So a giant is a chi ant. All right, this is the symbol for chi. When you say G, you're saying chi. This just represents spirituality, chi energy. So a giant is a C-H-I-A-N-T, a giant, a giant. The G is the spiral. So every culture that we see surrounding this pole tend to have a connection to electromagnetism in its name because the study of electromagnetism was our original spirituality. And check this out, folks. People been naming themselves after their spiritual concept for generations. Why you think we call Christians Christians? Why you think we call Muslims Muslims? Whatever spirituality a people practice, they name themselves after that practice. If you're a Christian, you follow Christ. So before religions, we studied Taurus energy and we named ourselves after the spirituality that we had. So we called ourselves Pygmy people or Pie people, Serpent people, Tartar people, Turtle people, magicians, because the root word of magician is magnetism, magi. Our true spirituality was the study of the ether or the study of electromagnetic energy. And that's why when we go back and study these ancient cultures, we find in their names coded are words that relate to electromagnetic energy, just like I'm showing you here. The Taurus people, the Tartarians, the Pygmy dealing with pi, the giants dealing with chi energy. The root word of giant is chi. G-I is C-H-I, chi. There's another land on this map, but I'm not sure exactly what's the name of the people on that land, so I'm not going to make nothing up. But you see what I'm saying. If you can give me the name of this fourth culture, I guarantee you that in their name is a code that relates back to their spiritual practice of studying electromagnetism. So all of the ancient original, what they call the races that seeded ours, the races around the North Pole, all of them got names that are related to the study of the ether, because that was their spirituality. And we adopt names based upon our spiritual practices. So now that's it for today. That completes everything you pretty much need to know about the Tartarian Empire. And that completes our session today on the decoding of the Christ. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream, and we're going to go live again because I want to have an open panel. And there are some other topics I wanted to address in the community about the state of flat earth, as well as just some other different topics. And if everything goes well, I spoke with Subtle Infinity, we will have a one-on-one on brosancheztv discussing the quote-unquote stagnancy of flat earth. I disagree with his stance as well as many other brothers. So me and him will exchange ideas and let the people weigh in the comment section, because I know a lot of people going to feel the way Subtle feel. So it's important that we respect his arguments as well in the discussion. This ain't going to be a one-way thing, because a lot of people have expressed to me the same sentiments Subtle Infinity expresses, as well as many other brothers. And we're going to let both of these expressions take place in an unbiased platform and let the people weigh in individually. So that'll be a great build. That'll be a great discussion if everything go well with that. But I'm going to leave y'all, man. I gave you some jewels here today on Tartaria, and we went deep into the rabbit hole, well, deeper into the rabbit hole with our decoding of the Christ. So before I get out of here, let me give a big shout out to LaShawn Thomas, as well as Illustrious Cook. Big shout out to Be Strong. Said, just paying my electric bill. I like that. Shout out to my brother Be Strong and Illustrious Cook. And the brother LaShawn says, been sharing your live on Facebook. Keep teaching, King. That right there just, man, guess what? Y'all thank LaShawn. I'm going to do an extra stream for that, man. Said, keep teaching, man. I love it when y'all appreciate what I'm doing, man, and y'all show me in these ways, yo. I just can't express how lucky I am to be the man in this position. And I wouldn't rather be a damn billionaire, millionaire, or none of that. I'm rich right now. I get to do something I love doing, and it be appreciated by people who can resonate with it. And, I appreciate you guys' support. Shout out to the sister Layla Rashida. Thank you, my sister. You've been encouraging me throughout the show, and now you've decided to send a super chat. I appreciate that, my sister. I appreciate that. And shout out to you too, Sister Serena. Said, thank you, Bro Sanchez. I'll be sharing your videos. Stuff like that make me want to sit here. It gives me a boost in my heart that make me get this big boost of motivation to just make another video, do another stream, write out another post or article, do another page on my book. It just give me that extra gas to go. Y'all just don't know, man. Keep encouraging me. You are fueling the fire, and I will keep on every time dropping the jewels that's going to free future generations spiritually, mentally, and physically from all the snares that the oppressors have in front of them to tangle them up in that web of confusion so that they never find who they truly are and never have no type of connection with the world around them. And that is such a tragedy. Because when you can't connect with that, you will connect through consumerism with everything that's self-destructive. All right? So you could be self-destructive or self-constructive. But that will be determined by your paradigm, unfortunately. Now, I'm going to get up out of here, guys. Again, a big shout out to everybody that sent in super chats, that donates via PayPal, Cash App. Big shout out to all of my Patreons. Huge shout out to all of my new Patreons. We just got so many new Patreons, and if you're a new Patreon, let it be known in the chat room so that the people can give you some love. One thing they're going to do is they're going to show Patreons love, because the people understand that pledging on Patreon is a big step. Whether it's $5 a month, $10 a month, however you want to do it, it says a lot. It says, hey, I'm gonna have this thing ongoing. It might not be much, bro, $5 a month, but I'm gonna contribute monthly, and that's a big step. So, because it's an ongoing thing, that $5 will come out every month, something like that. So I just say I appreciate you, Patreons. We had a bunch of new patrons. I sent out free crystal gift sets to my new patrons, and that's exactly what I will be doing for all new Patreons. I will be mailing those out today if you are a new Patreon. Thank you again for your pledge. And another thank you to all the people that gave the super chat donations. I see my brother Flat Plane Mr. P sending in that late donation saying nothing but flat love, and that's exactly what it is, my brother Flat Plane Mr. P. You always support me, and I want to thank you and your family, and I want to thank you all for your viewership and everything you do to help us grow. And I will see you guys later, because I have some free time. Today is Monday. We're going to try to do 2 more streams today, including the one with me and Subtle Infinity. And we're going to try to have an open panel for the community. Let people call in and hop on the Google Hangout panel. Pretty much discuss whatever you want to discuss. So have your topics and everything ready. And let me know by hitting the like button if you would even want me to have that open panel today. All right, get in the comment section. Let me know, yeah, brother, do that open panel. I will attend it. Let me know y'all gonna rock with me all day now, and I ain't gonna be alone. All right. Peace and much love. I love you all. See you later.